So how was your first season at Nebraska?
It was a great experience just from a crowd standpoint. I didn't. First of all, I never knew Nebraska was a real place. Don't get me wrong. Just from being from the South, you don't really hear about Nebraska, but Bryce McGowan, Trey McGowan, those are my best friends for sure. So they gave me the rundown, like what can I do for the team, what I'm going to expect. So came in here with a chip on my shoulder just to prove who I am, who I'm going to be during this team. The season wasn't a great season what we wanted to have, but it was a fun season because fans came to every home game and sold it out. Like just from just us playing, having a great season. So I liked how the fan came and support us every season. Win or lose, it was still a great support from them. But like I said, first season here, coming back next year, I feel like it's gonna be a better season for us for sure.
That's awesome. So you definitely felt supported from the Nebraska community.
Oh, definitely.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and the way you guys, especially you lose 2 starters, but I think the reason, at least in my opinion, why the crowd responded so well is the resilience. Like you guys could have laid over. Like you had a million excuses in the book. If you're looking for reasons to just kind of coast for the rest of the season, I mean, you guys had it all. But it was just a lack of fighting. You're losing 2 starters. Things aren't going the way you want. But then you had a little drought there, and then all of a sudden Sam Hoiberg starts coming alive. You start coming alive. We start getting all these players. Even Keita, I don't want to keep him out of the mix, but everyone started pulling together. And these guys off the bench, we didn't even really know. How many of these guys are ready? Because Big Ten basketball, it's just a different beast. It's just bruising, and if you don't know what you're doing out there, they're going to expose you real quick. So, I mean, I guess what do you have to say about just the team's identity at that point in the season when it felt like everything was going south, but you guys rebounded and almost just forged a new identity out of necessity almost?
Like you said, 2 stars going down, me and Emmanuel, it was kind of a down for a lot of people, but it was the next man up, like Denham Dawson, Sam Hoiberg, Blaze Keita, like they really was in practice every day, working on their craft because, their name was going to be called anytime. Sam Hoiberg beating, Coach Fred's son. I mean, it really didn't matter to him. Like, he's calling the mayor now. So, we call him Seatbelt Sam. So, stuff like that. He's just a hard player. Like, he don't really care what he brings on the court, but at the same time, he's just going to play hard. Denham Dawson was a big effect when I went down just from an athletic standpoint, rebounding, crashing the board, stuff like that. Blaze, that's my guy. I love Blaze. That's my guy. He's a big rebound type of guy, physical type of guy. But, a lot of people going not be knocked down, but at the same time, it's always that next man up. And I'm glad those 3 was always the next man up. Like Willie B, even Ole came in the game and affected the game a lot of times. So they was always prepared. Like at the end of the day, we basketball players. You always got to be ready to play. So, it really wasn't a big effect for us, but at the same time, the next man up was always prepared.
And then was that defensive identity, was that something that you guys were trying to carry with you all season? Because it just felt like, especially later down the stretch, obviously Sam Hoiberg was a popular one because those OT steals are going to put you on the top of any social media feed. But down the stretch, it felt like you guys really dug your heels into being a defensive unit. Was that kind of the vibe you were getting on that roster?
Coach Fred, like when I first got here, his big emphasis was defense. That's why he recruited me to become a big defensive player. Like anybody can score the ball, any Sam, E-Man, D-Walk for sure, can score the ball. But in the day, like who's really going to settle on the defense and then get a stop? And when it came to getting a stop, it made it way more fun because you're getting steals, blocks, getting transition, getting alley hoop, stuff like that. So the defense was a big part of who we was and who we became. So I like the way we play defense this year for sure.
Yeah, it's super exciting. And again, like the mayor out there just making those steals. I'll say one thing about him though, and just the roster in general. I mean, you guys, it looks like you guys took the weight room seriously. Like I don't really remember, Megan, maybe you can speak on this. Like I know it's just your freshman year, maybe not. But I'll be honest, like some of these teams in the past, like I haven't seen such like rapid growth. And I don't know if it's just guys just taking it that seriously in the locker room, but just a lot of surprising athleticism coming out of the group that, I mean, even Breidenbach looks like he was moving a lot better this year, which I wasn't really anticipating. So just kind of what was that off season like? Everyone getting ready?
The summer workout, I ain't gonna lie, was probably the best time I ever like felt good after a summer. My man Kurt Joseph, our strength conditioning coach, really emphasized like strength conditioning and stuff like that, but he didn't want to make it to the point like we just lifting mad weights. Like we worked on our stamina, running technique, mobility, like stuff like that. So that summer was a real good thing for us because we bonded as a team, having new guys, having old guys coming back. But that summer was a great thing for us because we really got mad strong, connected, stuff like that. But I shout out to my man Kurt because he really did it all for sure.
Absolutely. And again, if you guys want to join the show, we are streaming on Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, and Twitter. You can ask your questions there. We're also on Allo, channel 951. You can catch pretty much all the shows, even through the middle of the night. We got those rebroadcasted for you. And if you're just listening on FM airwaves, Starter Heyman text line 402-464-5685. You can join the show that way. And Megan, I know you guys got some Lincoln's Pub.
Oh, yeah.
Shout out to those guys. What you guys get today?
Juwan got a burger, which was very picky. And then I got a BALT, which is my favorite.
Don't get me wrong.
Yeah, you were having this conversation. What do you mean he's picky? Picky eater?
Apparently, Juwan is very picky about what he eats.
You're right. Right, because it's some things out here who got bad texture. Like pickles, tomatoes are not it on a burger. A plain burger with lettuce with ketchup and mayonnaise and mustard is totally fine with me.
So like looks, are you basing it on like looks or texture?
Nah, texture. Cause I don't care how it look. Like a strawberry looks sexy to me, but it's not good.
So are mushrooms out?
Oh God.
Okay.
Mushrooms definitely out.
What about onions? That's kind of crunchy.
Cross it.
Hey, you're still a good basketball player. I guess food doesn't really matter to you.
That's what it is. That's what it is.
Does the nutrition table have a hard time getting you to try to eat because you're a picky eater?
They surely do, because like say we get like a steak. I hate my steak with any pink in there. Like, I get a well done, and every time I get a well done steak, Coach Fred, I'll be like, "Why you eat a hockey puck?" I'm like, "What you mean? Like you eat your this straight meat?" I'm like, "Yes, it's good though, but that A1 sauce make it way better, so it's totally fine with me."
Yeah, you might get cross-eyed in the Midwest for a hockey puck steak, but we'll let it slide.
Do you eat at the training table for every meal?
No.
What do you do instead?
I go home and cook. Make my good old Alfredo pasta, with some garlic bread, call it a day.
I love that. So you just suffered a shoulder injury.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. And you had a previous ACL injury.
Mm-hmm.
Was it your freshman year?
Mm-hmm.
So how have you been handling with being out?
So I would say my freshman year, that really was my biggest, injury I ever had, instead of like a sprained ankle or like a sprained wrist. But, it was kind of a hard thing going through it because COVID hit right after. Yeah. So it was kind of a longer process for me. It took way longer than I expected. It took like a year and a half just to get back to 100%. But once I got 100%, like it was to the point like, okay, I'm not going to think about what I just went through. It's time to get back to going. So, as time moving on, I started playing again. Then 2 years, like a year later, I got my shoulder dislocated. But I never got surgery. I always play. If anybody see me playing like in the big brace, I always play in that brace every game just because I was protecting my shoulder. Then one home game here, it fully came out again to the point I couldn't put it back in like I used to. So when I went to the doctor, he was like, "You're going to need surgery. If you kept playing, you're going to need open shoulder surgery." I said, "Oh, God, please." I said, "Okay, we're going to get this done right now." And, I want to keep playing, but I do want to protect myself. But, as of right now, the process kind of slow. I'm not really doing a lot of rehab. Like I'm doing like a lot of band work. But, I mean, I'd rather do something than nothing at all, just sitting around. But, it's kind of a look for me like, okay, if I get this shoulder strong, then I'm going to be 100% Juwan. Like I've never been 100% in college at all. I've been always hurt or always going through an injury or playing against an injury. But I feel like this was something that God was like, okay, you need to slow down. Like I need you to get back to your 100% self. So when you do need to perform and get to that level where you need to get to, then you're going to be straight on. So what I'm going through right now is a good thing for me. I'm really just settling in. Like all my focus really on my rehab in school, which is going good for myself. So.
That's amazing. Yeah, good for you. So how do you think like your mental health went when they were told that you needed to have surgery?
It was kind of it kind of messed me up. I ain't gonna lie. I call my mom on a regular basis, just see like what should I do. Like it's be days I just like wake up like why am I going to the gym? I'm not really doing nothing. But at the same time, I still had to go to support my team through practice, film, stuff like that. But as time was going on, I got me a therapist. Likes to have somebody to talk to when I'm feeling some type of way. But that's really helping. I still got my therapist to today. So when I got therapy, it really was a good thing just to talk to somebody who didn't know who I actually am. So like when I'm going through a depression or like a sad moment, I call her anytime like I need to talk. And I could be there for like 2-3 hours just talk about how I actually feel. And once I get out that therapy session, I felt way much better because all that weight just got off my shoulders for sure.
And real quick from the text line, if you ever need a good meal, just relax too. John in Cortland says you can eat with us plain burgers and steaks. So he's got you hooked up for there.
That's awesome. I feel like I've heard so many athletes say they have like therapists and like how helpful it is.
Oh, absolutely.
Like I feel like I need to look into that.
Oh, I thought you had one.
I don't have one, which I need to look into.
Your mom is your therapist.
My mom's my therapist, my built-in best friend therapist, literally.
Yeah, I feel like especially for student athletes with your guys' schedules, like I feel like the biggest problem with therapy is people assume there's something wrong with you.
Mhm.
And it's just like, nah, you just need to vent sometimes.
Exactly.
Like if you're not saying anything, like there's one day it's gonna hit you at once and you're gonna be off for a day, a week, like who knows how long you sink into maybe not a depression, but just some weird states. Like bottling it up like that, have you thought about it a lot? Like just venting or finding a therapist, or is it just crossing your mind
Well,
talking to
this
Juwan
is the
here?
second time in like this week that I've heard people having it. But like I feel like I vent to like my roommates and like my mom, Like girls are different.
Sometimes I feel like your friends can be therapists.
Mhm.
It just kind of all depends, I guess, like how you see them. Because like for me, it's probably my family too. Like I don't, because they're there and they listen, but it just kind of depends. Like sometimes you got things going on that your parents just never dealt with themselves.
Yeah.
So it's hard to go for them for advice. So kind of after that injury, when did you kind of start getting that confidence back? I know obviously right now you're not doing a ton of work on it yet. You're just kind of doing band work, but how's it feeling and how's that confidence growing?
So I would say probably like 3 weeks ago, I legit fully got my sling on. So when he told me that, I really felt like, okay, it's time to get to work now. Even though I'm not really doing anything special, but at the same time, like I'm out of this restricted sling. So at this point, like, okay, I'm getting this confidence back to the point, okay, I'm gonna get 100%. I don't care how long it's gonna take. 1% each day is something good for me. So as of right now, my confidence is building back up to like where it would be. So like right now, it's not fully there, but it's coming along for sure.
Do you think if we arm wrestled, who would win? Did that break your confidence?
I mean, if you want to go on my dominant hand, you definitely going down. But this left hand, hey, you definitely got it. I'm not risking that at all.
Oh my gosh, that's funny. How are stairs going?
Oh God, here we go. Stairs is going fine. A little bit huffing and puffing,
Yeah.
but hey, we get up there. Trust me,
You're
we get
working
up
on
there.
it. You're getting back. Yeah.
You guys are running stairs?
Nah, she get on me because I told her one day, like, I'm out of shape right now. I ain't work out like almost 2 months. So while I walk upstairs, I'd be like kind of out of gas.
That's the first sign.
Yeah.
When you know you need to get back in the lab, you're like, these stairs are causing me problems.
Okay. We all can't be a Megan Walker track star.
Oh my gosh. It's all those candy bars you're eating. That's what.
Man, shout out to Mr. Goodboy. Hey, your deal. Come on.
Oh my gosh.
You might be. I don't know who all eats those. You might be the first person that I've known. They're people that I wonder at the station who all eats those, because that one always sits. That and the yellow starburst. Those are always at the bottom of the pile. There's some untouchables.
Yellow starbursts are not it. That's not.
I've not grabbed from that candy bucket yet.
Really?
No, I'm not a candy person.
Yes, we know. You more of a lettuce, tomato, avocado, cucumber person.
I've just grown up and it was just like clean food. I don't know. My parents never like acclimated me to like sugars and sweets.
I fell into the zebra cakes trap at a young age, and that did me dirty. It set a sweet tooth in me early on. I got out of Little Debbie's. Thank God. I'd probably be 300 pounds if I didn't find a way out. They were so good. But yeah, that sweet tooth will get you.
Oh, definitely.
But anyways, kind of get off the subject of food here a little bit. We do got another question from the text line. Nebraska basketball fan says, what's up, Juwan? Is there any part of your game you'd like to work on for next year? If so, what would it be?
It would definitely be my jump shot. Everybody know Coach Fred was a great shooter when he growing up, playing in NBA, college, stuff like that. I'll say my IQ for sure. You never could get enough of learning the basketball for sure. IQ, basketball, shooting, handles, just an overall game. Like you never have a space that you can't work on. So definitely all my game for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. And again, Sartor Heyman text line 402-464-5685. We have Juwan Gary in here from Nebraska basketball, and then Megan Walker from the track team, both in here, so you guys can ask some questions or watch on Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, and Twitter on Allo on channel 951. You can catch all our stuff there. But so kind of, your defense, was that something? It's pretty obvious for Nebraska fans. I think that's the thing people noticed first was the blocks, the rebounding, just the length that you're able to provide on the court.
Mm-hmm.
Was that something you grew into later in your career, or early on where you was scorer, and defense was kind of second?
Like I'm from South Carolina. I'm a person that people don't really know about. Like South Carolina is I come from not a small city, but nobody out of South Carolina really come from like a D1 area. But I call myself a dog. If anyone know what a dog is, like that's a person that get down and dirty and do all the dirty work. But defense is something I took pride of, because in the day, like if somebody like having a struggle time trying to score me, I'll make the game way harder for him, to the point it's making it way easier for me, because if you don't score no point, I'm doing all the work I can do. But defense is something I just took pride on in college for sure.
Absolutely. And I got both guys in here. I'm curious, what as student athletes, what you guys think. Did you guys watch the women's championship game? with Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese.
I was at the TV yelling. I was yelling at TV the whole time yesterday.
It's so did you guys have any beef with how Angel Reese or Caitlin Clark handled that whole thing? Because both, I mean, what I'm referring to is before Caitlin Clark and her playoff run did the You Can't See Me, and then after Iowa lost, LSU won the championship. Angel Reese followed her around for like maybe 10, 15. It was a little lengthy, so there was a little extra on there doing the You Can't See Me and then going pointing at a ring finger. Like, do you guys as student athletes have any problem with that, knowing that she was the one that Caitlin Clark was the one that kind of started it, and then you can argue Angel Reese might have took another step, but nonetheless, is there any lines, crossed for you guys seeing that situation?
I don't think. Like I said, it's basketball.
It's kind of where I land.
It's basketball. Like, okay, they talking trash. Like, but they judging it because they women. If a guy does it, it's no problem. Like, okay, he's talking trash. Okay, cool. Like, it's a great matchup. But a girl does it, it's the whole problem now, which I don't see why. Because at the end of the day, like, they are still basketball players. So, like, when Caitlin does, okay, that's her thing. Okay, when Angel does it, that's her thing. Because in the day, she showed and proved like what she deserved. Like, okay. It's taunting. Okay, it's basketball. And they not fighting. They ain't doing no. Okay, it's just basketball. But like I said, it's no thing. It's more problem on me. I liked it. I loved it very much.
Made it interesting.
Very interesting for sure.
Because you know who's back next year? Reese. You know who's back? Clark.
Exactly.
They're gonna have another run in it. Do you have any problems with that as a student athlete?
I feel like track is very different than basketball, so like I'm gonna view it differently than like Juwan does, because like track isn't like as
little more individual.
Yeah. So like I just feel like I don't know, like I don't see it as necessary. Like I don't know. I just don't like to get into like drama about other stuff like that. I don't know. That's just me though.
I mean, that's a fair opinion. Like you're just on the side. That's kind of the way DP leans. He's like, I don't care if it's men or girls. Like his argument wasn't this is a problem. Now he's always kind of hated that stuff. So I can see both sides. Like if you're a person that you think that doesn't belong in the game, like he doesn't think it's funny when Patrick Beverly does it either. When he's hitting LeBron with the too small. He doesn't. So like, there's both sides. For me, I'm kind of the same way. I like the competitiveness, and if you're going to be doing that as a great player, and if you have to watch the before and after because they respected Caitlin Clark.
Yeah, definitely.
They said it before the game, like, wow, it's kind of crazy to be going up against her. Like they recognize she's a great. But yeah, I didn't really have any problems with it.